Rabbit, for those who know what I'm talking about. I do think somebody's dropping something off at my house, so my dogs will be barking for a few minutes. I apologize for that. It's just what they do. So, all right, today we are making parfaits. Um, we're going to do a sweet version. We're going to do a savory version. They're each going to be a little bit different. So, I am. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hearing myself on my iPad in the other room. I was like, who's talking in my house? Sorry. That was just a little weird. Um, so I'm a little discombobulated today for whatever reason. So there's a few things that I want to make sure that we get drained so that they don't leave little puddles in our parfaits. So, okay. We've got a bit of a delay, so it is kind of bizarre to hear yourself like that. Now, my husband loves these things. He loves maraschino cherries. Not a huge fan myself, but these will look really pretty in the parfaits. Now, we've got some, and my son was the one who asked us to buy these. We've got some Luxardo cherries. If you've never had those, are they delicious. So, but when I work with these maraschinos, they really turn your fingers red. So I am going to hopefully not have to do that. I'll put on my gloves. And so we're going to set those aside for now to get drained. So that's that. I've already got my blueberries. That'll be for mine. I'm going to put some nuts in mine, not my husband's favorite thing. I'm going to use a little bit of yogurt probably in mine. His, I will use sweet ricotta cheese, which we are going to make right now. So, okay. So we're going to grab that ricotta. We're going to put it in a small food processor. You could use a big one if you want. I didn't want, so I didn't do it. Oh, y'all, I'm glad it's Friday. How about you? I'm looking forward to the weekend. Just relaxing a little bit. And hoping that life is just... We got a lot to do this weekend, but I'm looking forward to a lot of it. So I'm actually looking forward to a lot of the things we're making next week. So that's kind of cool. But I think I'm going to go ahead, and I've got about just a little more than half in there. So I'm going to pop the lid on there because that's the last thing we want to spill. That would be bad. So if you just come in, we're doing sweet and savory parfaits. Just doing that to make a little room in there. And then we'll add the rest in. So that'll be great. Lost a little bit. And I don't know about you guys, but man, I love ricotta cheese. It's so good. Hey, Christy, welcome in. I'm making the ricotta for, and yes, I didn't make it myself, but using ricotta. I'm going to use sweet ricotta in the dessert portion of the parfait. Okay, I've got that pretty well incorporated. So then I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. This is super fine sugar. So it's supposed to be fast melting and very, very fine. Similar to castor sugar. I don't want to make these too sweet because with my husband's, I'm using pineapple and cherries. I had some fruit that went bad and I didn't know it had gone bad. So I'm a little light on the fruit. And I didn't have time to get out by the time I found out. So we're just going to do this for a few seconds and get it rolling. And honestly, we're using the smaller one because because I just didn't feel like I don't feel like washing the big one today. So, some days you just make those sacrifices, right? I am doing okay, Christy. I think right before you came in, I was like, I am really glad it's Friday. I don't know about you, but I'm super glad it's Friday. So I'm going to try something I've never tried when I do this, and that's a caramel drizzle. But before we get started on that, I'm going to do one thing and that is I'm going to season my tomatoes, if you will, just so that they also lose some of their juice and they don't mess things up in here. So we're going to start with that. And I'm going to get some. I'm going to make sure they look nice. This will mostly be for me. Again, it's so funny because some of the things that I really love, my family doesn't. Some of the things they love, I'm not a big fan of. So we make it work, though. I've got 2 kids that are not big fans of tomato, but I'm beginning to think maybe it's more of a nightshade issue for them. And while tomatoes aren't exactly a nightshade, they are kind of nightshade adjacent. Which is funny because I've got or no, is it nightshades? I can't remember. But it's the same food family as eggplant. And I think that's nightshades. But none of my kids like eggplant. Not one. And then there's something else, which is funny because one of them does like mushrooms a lot. The other 2 do not. So I think there's an issue in general with all of that. So, and how are you doing today, Christy? Hope you're doing well as well. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on these tomatoes just to let them lose some of their juice. And that just helps them release that juice, and then they'll be much better in the parfait, so they're not making a mess at the bottom. So, okay, and I'm excited to use this. When my son was in Portugal last summer, they bought us some local olive oil, even has a little dent from when I came back. But good. I'm glad you're fine. So this is, I don't know. There are some olive oil places over here, and I need to go visit them. I haven't been there in a while. I never liked things that were drizzled with olive oil, but look at this. Isn't this the cutest little thing? All right, so you pull that up like that, and then it has a little cap like this, and you can drizzle it. So we'll be using that a little bit later. But I just think it's the cutest thing. And once I had good drizzling olive oil, wow, did that make a difference. It was unbelievable how delicious that is. So I'm going to give that a stir a couple of times. And did not try the ricotta, which I'm going to do right now. Oh, I'm going to need that a little sweeter for my husband. He will not like that. I would like it like that. He will not. Now, the other thing is the way I'm doing this, you could also layer it with whipped cream if you want. I could whip up some cream. I don't know if he would like that or not, so probably would, but we'll see how we feel about it once we start assembling. So Thanks, Christy. I appreciate it. I was just talking about that. Some people like they'll have one video that just goes crazy, and I have one that did really well, really well. But I've been in the online space for a long time, and what I have found is with a lot of people, when they go, as we call it, viral for them, or if they go viral, period, what happens is sometimes they can't reproduce that like viral success, and they chase that for so long, where there's other people who have just kind of keep going along, and eventually what happens is and these are my pineapple, I'm going to drain them too, I'll fix that in a minute, but they it's the ones who kind of just build and build and build and build, and they don't, you know Mr. Beast is an outlier. Let's put it that way. Most people don't build that way. So we are definitely looking to get our 1,000 subscribers. We're looking to get uh, we're really hoping to get, our 4,000 watch hours eventually, but we're okay with building it solid rather than building it quickly. So that's part of our thought process, if you will. So, all right, we've got, are you going to stay there? There's something about that size strainer. It doesn't want to sit. See? It doesn't want to sit nicely like the other ones do. And I don't know why. It's something with, I guess it's further down. I'm going to have my husband take something to it. But that one sits fine. The rest of them sit fine. This one always gives me a problem. Who knows? But anyway, thanks, Christy. I appreciate it. Hey, IT guy, can you come fix this for me? You didn't get rid of the stream picture for me like you usually do. So, okay. Now, I also have, for me, I'm going to do like a vegetarian type one. It's going to be almost like a caprese salad. But I don't have any fresh basil. My basil plants are not growing, and I think it's because it's so cold. But I already have my cucumbers all cut up, so that'll be ready to go. And then for the savory one, while I'm using a sweet ricotta, I'm going to use I'm going to use cottage cheese for the savory one. And I'm just going to take that sweet, hey, you, stop that. He's stealing the maraschino cherries. So I'm going to pull this, well, maybe not. I'm going to scoop this out and put this back into the ricotta container. Again, I am, every night after we're done here, it takes like 45 minutes to clean up the kitchen. It's just such a mess, and there's so many dishes. So I'm going to do my best over the next few weeks to keep the dishes to a better spot. So not quite as many. There we go. All right. So we're going to scoop that off of there. Still probably not as sweet as my husband would like it, but it's as sweet as he's going to get it for now. And if it's not too bad, or if it's pretty, although he's going to have caramel in his, so that'll sweeten everything up as well. So, all right. So I'm going to try it. Yeah, it's not super sweet, but that's okay. And I'm going to rinse that out. And then we'll do the cottage cheese. Oh, goodness. So, anybody got big plans for the weekend? I would love to hear them. Ours are not big. We're just going to be working in the yard and getting set up for next week, and all that good stuff. So we're doing some work in the house. We're trying to switch out some bedrooms and stuff. My youngest is, he stays here. So we weren't sure how long he was going to stay here, but at this point, it looks like he's going to be here for a little while. So we're going to rearrange some closet space and stuff like that for him. So, and we don't mind. We don't mind that he's here at all. So, as a matter of fact, we're going on a road trip later this month. Yeah, it is this month. I keep forgetting it's May, but we're going on a road trip a little later this month, and he will be here to take care of the dogs, which is wonderful. All right, see what I mean? Just a little tiny jostle, and off it went. So, got to get the edge up on there instead of the other part. So, all right, so we're going to get our other base ready here. Like I said, we're going to go with cottage cheese. If I had 2 ricotta cheeses, I would use both of them, but I don't have that. So we will switch over to cottage cheese for the savory one. And I'm going to use about half this because it's a big container. So I love cottage cheese. You know, not everybody does, but I do. Quite versatile. So I've got that in there. We'll put that on top. And we pop this in. So kiss the cat goodnight. That's a lovely handle. So we're going to blitz up. We've got some cottage cheese here. We are making sweet and savory parfaits today. And we're doing that because it is National Parfait Day. So, and it's so hard for me to say the word parfait and to not talk like Eddie Murphy in Shrek and say everybody loves a parfait or everybody loves parfait. So consider yourselves lucky. I'm not doing that. So, oh goodness. But parfaits are fun, you know, they really are. So, all right, so there's that savory side. I'm going to get this guy out of the way. Ooh, don't do that. I don't need to be knocking glasses over. All right, so tell me, what are you doing this weekend? There's a place near where I live called the Off Market, and that starts up this weekend. So the markets are coming, and I think we have a farmer's market not too far from here, and I think that starts this weekend. My neighbor always goes, and she finds me things. So we find each other things, but so I'm looking forward to the market starting. I'm not good at getting out early, to be honest. So a lot of times I miss out on the big deals just because. So now we are ready to start assembling, I think. Now with mine, I'm going to add, my husband doesn't like yogurt. I love yogurt, so I'm going to add a little yogurt to my sweet parfait. And he will get all ricotta cheese in his. So, and I'm going to try something I've never done before. I've never done a drizzle of caramel. Now, if it pools in the bottom, my husband is not going to care. So I'm not worried about that part. So that's what we're going to try. I'm going to try starting it in the bottom. And then, it's not going to do it. I thought maybe I could make it just kind of drizzle up and down the glass. But he won't care if it's pretty as long as it tastes good. So that's what we're going to worry about, is just getting it along the thing there. Probably if I practiced it 10 or 11 times, I'd get something decent. But again, we're always going for tasty here as opposed to gorgeous. And that's not terrible. So it's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but it's not, like I said, not terrible either. So we're going to start with his. I'm going to make some way for you guys to... Oh, these pineapples are starting to annoy me. So, got the ricotta here for him. And we're going to put some ricotta in the bottom. Trying not to make a mess of this thing. Has anybody made a parfait before? I haven't. This is my first time, actually. So, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to try to get a little more in there. I have a bad word on here, so I've covered it up and replaced it. I'm sure y'all can figure out which word it was. All right, so that's like a nice little layer in the bottom. I'm going to put a little more drizzle of the caramel because I can't make it too sweet for him. I can tell you that right now. So I'm going to do that. And then, oh, they're there. Looking for my gloves so I don't have to keep washing my hands. All right, and then I'm going to place a piece of pineapple. And then a cherry. And then we're just going to rotate that around. Okay. IT guy is taking you guys away from me, so I'm not sure what's going on, but he'll tell me later. All right, some more. All right. Another piece of pineapple. Oh, it's been that kind of day, y'all. All right. Are we struggling? Okay. I guess I could put this closer, couldn't I? Ha! How's that for an idea? All right. So we've got that. Then I'm going to put a couple more in the, just to fill in the middle. So he's got some more fruit in the middle. It's almost like a fruit cocktail. Too bad I don't have any peaches or, well, he wouldn't like the pears anyway. So I'm probably giving him the best of what he would like anyway. So there you go. Some more ricotta. I may not have to. I may be able to do that for myself as well. So, all right, and then we're filling that in. Hey, that's not too bad. And then we will see if we can do the opposite of what we did above. There we go. And do pineapple. I'm going to have just enough cherries. Good thing somebody didn't take more of them. Ooh, got a little dip there. Let's see if I can. I'm going to clean the edge there. All right. And then, ooh, that one still had juice in it. Oh, well. Hopefully. Okay, gotta move this just a little bit. I'm gonna need one more piece of pineapple in there. We okay? All right. Okay, so we got our second round. I think if I did this again, I would cut the cherries in half just because it would be easier to push them up against the edge there. Then I'm going to put a dollop right there. I'm going to put a drizzle right there. And if I know my husband, he will be adding some, and trust me, I can't put too much caramel in there for him. So, and it is just in case you're wondering, this is Smucker's sugar-free. So I can be a little generous with that. So that's his. It's simple. The thing is, use whatever fruit you want. That's the thing. He will enjoy the heck out of this because he loves pineapple. He loves maraschino cherries. And then I have one little maraschino cherry left, and I'm going to put that little cherry on top. Okay, so then I actually do have enough probably to do two, but I'm going to take my yogurt and I'm going to put my yogurt in there because, you know, probiotics and stuff. So, and this is my favorite. This is my favorite yogurt. It doesn't raise my blood sugar. It tastes, I like the taste of it a lot. My family doesn't. I do. So, got to do what you like. My family doesn't like yogurt in general. So, the only yogurt I like better than that is if I make it myself. And I have a really great recipe for that in the Instant Pot. But yogurt is no quick thing. So, yogurt is one of those things you have to be like willing to go for. It takes about an hour to get it ready to go to ferment or whatever you want to call it, to sit. So I just got that all mixed in and folded in and all that good stuff. So that'll go in there. And it is hands down the best yogurt I've ever tasted with this recipe. But it it has to sit overnight, and you strain it, and then you have to either restrain it or well, it sits overnight. Then you strain it and you let it however much. If you like it really loose, you can eat it then, but I like it strained with more of a Greek yogurt texture, if that makes sense. So in mine, I'm going to do blueberries and I'm going to do pecan halves. This is similar to what I would eat if I was eating yogurt, to be honest. I usually eat my yogurt with blueberries, and I switch up the nuts. I love pecans are my favorite nut. If I had to pick one, it would be for this pecans. My favorite nut in general is a cashew. I love them, and I like them. Which some people are like, "Ew," when they hear this, but I like mine raw and unsalted. They're almost like they're almost sweet, and they taste delicious. So I like them that way. That doesn't mean I don't like them the other way. Uh, that I don't like them salted, but again, and uh, I like the lightly salted ones, if that makes sense. And this one's mine. So if you see me lick my fingers, this is because it's mine. And put my fingers back in there. So I do not have a problem with that because it's mine. So I was talking to that a couple people have messaged me about some of the messages lately about people telling me about my hair and or lack thereof, and some of my habits. It's funny, and I appreciate the love. I do, but for the most part, I get that that's not about me. So you don't take that too personally. I'm gonna throw a few more berries in there, and I'm gonna throw some of the broken nuts in there to fill in some space. And then I'll put another layer in. So next week, like I said, I've talked about this before, but we're going to do Star Wars food on Monday. And we're going to do an American Cinco de Mayo on Tuesday. We're going to make some Taco Bell dupes, as they call them. And then Tuesday, we're actually going to make the batter for Wednesday, because Wednesday is crepe Suzette. And I'm glad I looked at my recipes. Hi, Roxy. Welcome in. Yep. Unfortunately, I can't do the granola unless I do a gluten-free granola. But yeah, that sounds amazing to do it that way. Uh, Sometimes I miss gluten a lot. Sometimes I don't. Um, it has made me, it has forced me in a way to eat healthier. So we eat a lot of whole foods because of it. Now, my family still eats gluten, and it's not like I don't have an allergy that if it's in my house that it's going to kill me. Now, I have a niece who has a tree nut allergy. She doesn't really come to my house, but if she did on the regular, I'm not sure I'd have tree nuts in here. Um, because it's an anaphylactic reaction, and I would never want to be the cause of something like that. I know some other people who have peanut allergies, and um, you know, it stinks to have those allergies. As a matter of fact, uh, my son had a couple of friends who were Asian who had peanut allergies, and their moms were like, "You have no idea what it's like when we have to, like, when we go home." And she's like, "People just don't understand it because they don't worry about it there." So they said we always have to get a place where we can cook, which is, she's like, we go out, but their kids didn't go with them because it literally could kill them. So we were very careful. They were in my son's classes, and I was the senior class mom that year, and we were very, very careful to ask the moms, like when we did treat bags and stuff like that, to make sure that their kids got a special treat bag and that they were nut free. And then we had another kid who was gluten free, so we always had to make sure they had a gluten free set of snacks. And yes, my husband got one. He got one cherry. I get more just because, you know what? It's mine. And so here's mine, and then here's his. And here's the thing, that's dessert, and we probably won't eat it all. We'll eat half of it today, and we'll eat half of it tomorrow. But also, like I said, we'll eat half of each, but that won't be enough. We'll need some protein to add to that. So we will be adding some extra protein. And then, you know what? I'm just going to, no, I'm not. If I toss those in there, they'll get soggy, and I don't want them to get soggy. So that's my weekend sorted for yogurt. I'll throw this in the sink. And yes, I took a little bit of it, tried it, really good. So that goes in the sink, that goes in the trash. This gets a little rinse off. And like I said, we're going to add some protein. The red in my husband's is the maraschino cherries. I was going to go get some strawberries. I was telling them I had some fruit that was bad and I didn't have time to run to the market. So yeah, I would put like strawberries in mine. I'm allergic to raspberries. I love them, but I can't eat them. And I would have popped some raspberries in mine. Could I have eaten them? So yeah, his could use a little pop of other color. He gets a little caramel in his because he likes it sweeter than I do. And then mine will be, I am happy with that, and he'll be happy with his. And then we'll move these to the side so we can get to the savory bits. And okay, so this is another thing. I thought I had pepperoni, and I was going to do a pizza type one for him. So instead of it being a regular pepperoni, mine's going to be more of like a salady type. And if you're just joining us, now we're going to do some savory parfaits. We've done our sweet ones. I'll put those back in where you guys can see them. I think you can see them right there, right? So his is not going to be as colorful as mine. Although I think I'm going to put some of my tomatoes in with his. And for the base for this, we're going to use cottage cheese for the more savory since we used the ricotta for the sweet. So just want to have a little bit of, and that's what happens when you're live. Those are my dogs. I'm guessing it's the male person, although they didn't bark as much as they usually do at the male person. So, okay. And these I might make a little bit simpler. Hey, IT guy, can you do me a favor? I would have used salami. I don't have it. Can you get me the pepperoncinis? I will tell you exactly where they are, my friend. On the right, next to the olives. You know where the olives are? Bring your arm back. Middle shelf in the drawer. Okay, I'm going to cut these. I don't know if you've ever used, if you go to Costco, these little chicken bites are yum. They're so good. And I'm going to cut these up to be bite-sized for my husband. And I just realized I need to do something. Okay. So yeah, Tessa, if I had some, and in this, if I had some red bell pepper, I would put that in for my husband as well. So I'm going to just do like one layer of the tomato for him because it'll be pretty. And let's see what these guys look like. I always smell them to make sure they're okay. I don't know about you guys. Even if they're not expired, I smell them just to check. So, but there's some color for him. And then I need a little fork. He likes spicy too. So there's his red. I'm going to add just a few of these. Yeah, I think maybe one or two more. Yeah, that'll do it for him. Just to give you a little extra something. And I'll put some pretty little pieces of the meat and stuff in there. It's a little fiddly, but you know, for a Friday, why not, right? Honestly, our son's going out to dinner tonight, and if it was a normal night, we'd probably go. And my husband's like, "We could go anyway." I'm like, "No, we can't. We're gonna have food here." So, and then for him, this is a local pizza joint. I'm gonna put a little bit of pizza sauce in there, and he'll warm this up, so he'll enjoy that. And that little bit of pizza in there. It'll kind of be a pizza sauce. It'll be like a little pizza for him. So then I will give him some more cottage cheese on top. Another spoonful there. So what I would do with this, and if you're going to do a savory one, I mean, pizza's like it's a no-brainer, right? To do pizza flavors, especially if you like like I said, you could use a whipped ricotta. That would be so easy to do. You know what? I might go ahead and just give him a couple more of these tomatoes just to make it look pretty. He doesn't have to eat them if he doesn't want, but do them that way so they take more space and I don't need as many. I should have thought of that on the first row. So I hope if you're Italian that that's not sacrilege for you to like put the pizza flavors in there without it being a pizza, but sometimes you just do what you got to do, right? All right, so there's that. There's a lot of these that were chopped up, so that's actually gonna work out really nicely for him. And then that. I wish I had Italian sausage, any of it. I would have cooked it up, but we've used it all. So And I didn't realize it, and it wasn't on my grocery list last week, so. Oh well. I'll finish up that last little bit of chicken for him. And then just a little bit on top because I need some for myself. So I'll do that. And then hopefully he likes it. You know, he's kind of a meat and potatoes guy. So when I pull stuff out like this, he's like, now what? But you know, after almost 33 years together, he should be he should just know I'm going to do silly stuff like this just to keep it interesting. He's really excited about next Tuesday. So his favorite thing at Taco Bell was the Mexi Melt. There's the little thing, but he loved the Mexi Melt. When he heard I was going to try to make one at home, he's over the moon excited. We had to stop eating at Taco Bell because, well, I did. They can still eat there. So that's his. He gets those two, and then mine will be, and I'm going to turn these sideways because I don't have as many as I thought I did, just like I said before. And then I will use these lovely little, I call them Persian cucumbers. I don't know what anybody else calls them. But that's what, and I buy a bag of these just about every week. Sometimes I have to take a little break from them, but I have a really good Asian marinade that I use for that. And I cut them up, but then I don't put the marinade on them because then they don't get mushy, which is nice. So I'll put those in there. And then I'm going to, don't you do that. You know what? I'm going to chop this up just a little bit smaller. Those look pretty, but it's not practical to dig in there and get that. So I'm going to chop up a little bit of the cucumber, just a few pieces of it. Make that more spoon friendly. And let's see, I did 3. I'm probably going to need 4. So I'll just go ahead and just take one of these guys and chop that up. I could grab a couple more, I guess. I'll do that for the next layer. And then I will put that in the middle with that's right. Jello's a food group. I love that. My husband's willing to try it. I'll give him that. The man is willing to try just about anything that I make. Um, like I said the other night when I made the gluten-free orzo, he was like, I'll try it. And he was like, it's okay. It's like, I'd rather have spaghetti. I'm like, yeah, I know you would. But this was made in 6 minutes. So this is another thing I got at Costco, and it's a balsamic glaze. I don't know if you know who Nona Pia is. I love her. Nona Pia and Nona Gracie. I followed both of them. I haven't seen them much lately. Might have to look them up. And then just a little drizzle of olive oil. And again, until I had good finishing olive oil, I had no idea. I had no idea. I always thought olive oil, why would you finish with that? But then when I got the good stuff, boy, so good. As I sling this across the glass there. Okay, I'm going to have to pull that out of there to get more of that goodness in there. Make our next layer. I wish I had some fresh basil. I will. By summertime, I will. I have some growing already. I had some more delivered today. That was a little fundraiser from a friend of mine. I got an herb thing with her son. And so I will have some more herbs to plant this weekend. And I'm in Ohio, and we have a terrible problem with squash bugs. Um, and it's funny because I have most people can grow a zucchini before they can grow anything else. It is the one thing I cannot grow is a zucchini, but I seem to be pretty talented at basil. So I usually have a nice big basil plant, but I also know how much the pollinators love basil flower. So I tend to let at least one of mine go to flower. So I lose it about 2/3 of the way through the season because I don't keep cutting it back. I give it to the pollinators. So anyway, but you know, pollinators got to eat too, and the better they eat, the better we eat. This is the way I look at it. So, but I'm learning what to plant and what to keep those squash bugs away. So, fingers crossed. And I also found out there's a kind of squash you can grow, and it says to grow it away from the rest of your garden, and it's called a trap crop. And apparently they'll go there, but then they'll leave your other stuff alone. So I'm going to give that a try as well if I can find the um, inside or outside. There's a good question. I have tried having an indoor herb garden, and I don't get enough sun in my windows except for one, and my dogs lay in front of that window. So if I try to put anything in that window, they will destroy it. So it's kind of been their spot for a long time. So the only other place is literally right here on my table is where I get good sun. This this part of my house, this wall right here faces east. So, and I've got a covered front porch and I have a covered back porch. So I don't have a lot of space where things can um, things can grow inside. So I do outside the best I can, and I keep saying I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I might get a grow light this year and see if I can grow my own herbs because they're so much better when you've got them right there and they're fresh and oh. Because I will tell you, my favorite thing to do in summertime is when I've got a good ripe tomato and I can slice that up and I can put some good mozzarella cheese on it, drizzle it with some balsamic, and put some basil on top. That's heaven to me. That is heaven on a plate. So that's one of my favorite summertime lunches. And I just love to cut up tomatoes and, eat them. Like I said, the rest of my family, not thrilled. My next door neighbor adores tomatoes, so I share with her. I use her fence. Some years I've used her fence as a trellis, and which she loves because I tell her anything on your side of the fence, don't even ask me, just take it, it's yours. So, and this year, she's always said, if you need more room, you're welcome to use my yard. Well, we're going to do that this year. I have another garden that's due today, as a matter of fact. It's due to show up anytime. And so a little drizzle of olive oil. So good, so good, so good. Okay. And then I think for myself, for a little treat, even though mine's mostly vegetarian, I'm going to take some of these little chicken bites and I'm going to just put a few of them on top for myself. So that will be kind of our starter, and then we'll have our desserts. And in the meantime, for those of you who were here yesterday, I don't want to say I got lazy, but I got tired. So instead of making meatballs, I made a meatloaf. And so I am going to cook this meatloaf up. It'll be for extra protein and fiber for dinner since it's got the lentils in it. And also, I don't tend to cook it in here, but I think I will tonight just to simplify things. And now that it's got the chicken in it instead of just beef, there shouldn't be a lot of, I don't think there'll be a lot of grease in the bottom. So I'm going to pop that in the, go ahead and pop that in the oven. And by the time we finish our first course, this thing should be ready. Let's see, I'm going to bake it at 35 minutes, which I could have done earlier, but I don't think he's going to be home till later tonight. So at 375, so that's going to get to do its thing. Let's see, here's mine. So I'm going to, just for funsies, I'm going to take a bite here. Yeah, I know. I'm trying. I'm getting better at it, but you know, I had to be so careful for so many years for my kids, for my husband. So we still try to cook healthy, but we're still on a health journey. We're all on a health journey, I think. But okay, so here's mine that's got the ricotta cheese and the yogurt. I ate dessert first. I didn't realize. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that, but there's no way I'm going to eat all of that. So the other thing you could make this in, if you had like a smaller one, is you could make them in mason jars. And that would be really cute as well. So I didn't want to make. I only have the big mason jars, and I have really really small ones. So um, I didn't want to make either really big or really small. So that's how we ended up in the glasses instead. So that's so good, and we'll definitely enjoy that for dessert. I'm just going to use this spoon. So get down there and get some of the goodies. Like I said, that little balsamic will be a nice little hit. That's so good, you guys. Okay, so that's the whipped ricotta. And this, for me, has tomato and cucumber. And it's got a little bit of those, the chicken bites. And it's so good. Now, if you don't want to make it fancy schmancy, you can make this in probably 10 minutes. And put it in a bowl. And you've got yourself a nice high protein, call it what you want, lunch, snack, dinner. You could do anything with it. So you could switch it up. You could switch your meats up. You could switch your raw veggies up, whatever you like. If you're going to use something like a carrot, I would cut it smaller, to be honest. Same thing if you were using like, I thought about doing this. I do have some mandarins. I keep looking over there. I have mandarins over there, and I would take the skin off of them. Or if you have canned mandarins, you could do that with the vanilla yogurt. I got sick on creamsicles when I was a kid. And anything else I've ever gotten sick on, I've gotten over it. But the combination of vanilla and orange to me is still like, it just makes me go, ugh, gives me the willies. So, so yeah. And I would do this again. Like I said, I would do this again with more pizza type stuff. I would love to do it with like an Italian sausage, or even with pepperoni would be great. But so there you have it. We've got our sweets. We've got our savories. This one's going to be too sweet for me, but my husband's going to love it. And this one's going to be too spicy for me, but my husband's going to love it. So think about it. What would you do with it yourself? Like I said, you can use the cottage cheese for a little extra protein. You can use the ricotta, however you want to do it. Whip it up, makes it so smooth and delicious. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We will be back on Monday to cook Star Wars food, and I hope you'll join us. It'll be same time, and next week we will start on our 4-day thing where we'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you guys on Monday. Thanks, Christy. I appreciate that. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. I love you guys. Eat well, be well. Love you. Bye-bye.